that Travis can keep a secret. He was trying to take it to his grave. I'm like, it's gonna be okay.
I know.
Okay. Perfect. We'll give everybody just a few minutes to get on. You guys, as you are hopping on, just drop in the chat where you're joining us from today. Kiva's in Utah. I'm in Florida. We're almost as far apart as we can possibly be.
Yeah.
And I bet our climate is as far apart as we could possibly be too, because it's hot here. My air conditioner is running.
Yeah, we are winterizing our sprinkler system and getting a new fireplace put into our house. So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
No winterizing here. I have friends that are like, we have to winterize our pool. I'm like, we leave our pool going all year. I mean, you know that because your in-laws live here, but we live, I mean, like, we
yeah,
just,
my husband's from Florida, so he like doesn't understand any of the winter stuff out here, and I have to teach him everything.
Yeah, my grandparents have a house in North Carolina, and they have to go like winterize it too. I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
I'm terrible. I would be a terrible. I'd have broken stuff all the time. Right, we're going to give everybody just another minute because it always pops up right at 5 o'clock, and then we'll get started. And it is being recorded, so if anybody misses it, we can share it. So if you're just joining us, where are you from? I see Arkansas, New Mexico. If you press chat at the bottom, Kiva, the chat will show up on the side. Okay, I just want to make sure you figured that out, that you could see comments and stuff. And I'll try to watch the comments as you're going and help with that. California, Wisconsin. I bet it's cold in Wisconsin. I bet. It was 16 degrees here this morning. In New Mexico, I'm so stupid. I didn't even know it got cold in New Mexico. I guess I thought it was part of like other Mexico. I don't know. I'm geographically challenged. I don't know. Why would you name something New Mexico if it gets cold? I don't know. So dumb.
We just got back from Mexico, and I want to go back.
I bet. I bet.
It's out there. Now we're back in dry, cold.
Yeah. Well, you know, I get out there, I get like nosebleeds, and I don't do well in that climate. I just like go away.
Yeah.
Yes. I've never had a nosebleed in my entire life. And I get there and my nose just like starts pouring. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I need humidity. Must have humidity.
I know my husband, when he first moved out here, he was like, oh, I don't need chapstick. I've never needed chapstick or lotion. I just have a good body. Like, oh, you'll learn.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, his lips are like bleeding. I'm like, yeah, welcome to Utah.
Yeah, welcome. Perfect. All right. Well, it is 5:03, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I know I'll have some people jumping on, but I know you're at work. Kiva's on company time, so we appreciate her taking time. I don't know if many of you had the opportunity to meet her or, you know, see her at events. I've got to spend some time with Kiva. She's absolutely amazing. So I asked her, I said, would you be willing to help us with this call? So kind of a brief overview. We're going to talk a little bit about the programs that corporate offers, and Kiva helps run, do the stuff for that. You might recognize her from doing videos and things like that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition, some do's and don'ts. And you know, we have some amazing products, but I think overall health and wellness is our, you know, goal ultimately, I think, for most people. So while we have great products, there are other things we can put into place to kind of speed up that process and, you know, get things going. So we're going to dive kind of into that. So like I mentioned, she is corporate, her official title is health and fitness specialist. She's gone to school for this. She can talk to us a little bit more about that and how long she's been doing this. And anyhow, I'm going to turn it over to Kiva. And Kiva, go ahead and start. You know, what's your background? How'd you get involved? Tell us a little bit about your passion for fitness and nutrition.
Cool. I started studying, I started my degree in health and fitness. I started out in sports medicine in 2010. And so I've been doing this ever since then. I got my degree in health and human performance. I played college volleyball there. And after I graduated, I became their strength and conditioning specialist for the university's athletic department. And I trained the men's soccer team and women's volleyball. But I decided I don't like working with athletes. And that's typically what people with my degree, that's like their biggest goal, is to work with athletes and professionals. But that just wasn't for me. And I learned that really fast, and I got out of that. And I learned that my passion and my love is helping just everybody else who doesn't really understand a whole lot about health and fitness, because they're the ones who actually need it. And I felt like I was making more of an impact helping like people like my mom or my brothers and sisters, like just everyday people, not these specialized athletes. And so I get a lot more satisfaction out of just helping the general population. And yeah. Now I'm
perfect.
Well, I'm so happy to be working at True Vision. It's like my ideal company, because from their products, I can tell that they're good quality products from their ingredients, and I trust the formulators and the manufacturers, and because that's what I studied in school, was also supplementation, and just the company culture. The slogan is live better, and so they're trying to help everyone live better every day in every way that they can, from nutritionally to physically, financially, like culturally, with relationships. I just really like the overall vibe of the company, and I feel like it's a perfect fit for what I do.
That's awesome. We got super lucky getting you. So I think the important part is, like we talked about, there's so much to know about nutrition. I mean, you studied it, you have a degree in it, you went to college for years to learn about the supplements and the products, and everyday average people just simply do not know. I mean, it's not something we learn in school, right? It's we really have to spend a lot of time and focus on. So I want to talk about really quickly about some of the tools we already have available at corporate that you work on, the True Transformation, a little bit about that, and some of the tools that you have readily available for our associates and customers.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the first projects I did when I got hired here was come up with a free fitness and nutrition plan, which is on the front end of our website. So most associates spend all their time in the back office. So I understand that a lot of people don't know about it yet. But if you go onto the front end of the website, truevisionhealth.com, you'll see a link under programs, and it's this little blue guy, little fitness guy. If you go in there, there's a free 6-week fitness program that was designed by me. So you don't have to guess what to do for your next workout, and it scales you up over 6 weeks, and it progresses you throughout a 6-week plan. And there's also a nutrition guide in there that teaches you the basics of how to create a healthy meal. So how to portion your healthy meal, what ingredients to pick, what ones to limit or avoid, and how to prepare it, how to cook it, make it taste good, so that healthy eating doesn't have to be bland and boring and gross, because it doesn't have to be. So all of that's available on the front end of our website. And then also in the Facebook page, the True Transformation Facebook page, I post everyday tips, recipes, workout videos, all kinds of little motivational stuff, just whatever you guys want to see. And I'm always open to hearing suggestions as to what you guys want to see on that page. So feel free to drop it in comments or anything, what you like, what you want to see more of. So yeah, I'm just here to help.
Perfect. I think that's so important, Kiva. These tools are readily available. This is free information for you all, and you can share this with your associates and your clients and your customers. Kiva and corporate are doing the work for us and supplying us with that tool. I think it's such an underused tool. So associates, I encourage you, get involved, start sharing, get your teams involved. I would also follow the Instagram page, the corporate Instagram page. There's always good stuff on there as well. So I highly encourage that. Make sure you reach out on Instagram. Kiva's always posting stuff there. The marketing team's always posting stuff there. I'm just blown away at the free stuff we have.
Yeah. And you don't even have to be a customer. You don't have to purchase anything to have access to those. So it's a good way to kind of lead people into the company if they're a little bit hesitant about making a purchase. You can say, well, we have all of this information that's really good information for free. You don't have to purchase anything. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. You can still do this. They might browse around the website because they're already on there. So it's also a good business building tool as well.
For sure.
We also have another health and fitness coach here, a personal trainer and nutritionist who runs our social media. So all of our social media content is screened through actual certified professionals. So you're not getting any content that's just written by a random blogger who happens to have a fitness model body type that doesn't really know what they're talking about. They're just gifted with genetics, but it's actual good quality content from certified people. So you can trust it's a good, reliable source.
Shout out to her too. I know there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes on her behalf. So we appreciate that. The next thing, let's talk a little bit about, this is something I see a lot of. Let's talk about cardio, weights, combination of the two. Let's dive a little bit more into a little bit of weight stuff, and then we'll get into a little more nutrition. Talk a little bit about that and your recommendations.
Yeah, I think that getting into a fitness plan, if you are completely new and haven't done anything like starting a nutrition plan or a fitness program, I think starting with physical activity is the easiest way to go about it. And then it will also bridge the gap and make those nutritional habits a little bit easier as well, just because of some chemistry that goes on within your body. But first of all, I saw one of the questions that we had in the group was weightlifting versus cardio. What do you recommend? So cardio is great for building strength in your body's delivery system, which is your heart and your lungs. That's what circulates all of your nutrients. Everything throughout your body gets rid of all the gunk and takes all the good things to where they need to be. So doing cardio is really good for that. It reduces your risk of heart disease, diabetes. It can help you lose weight, burn calories, reduce types of cancers, relieve stress. There's so many things that cardio can do. But in comparison, there's weightlifting, which is not going to strengthen your like VO2, so your lung capacity. It's not going to strengthen that as much, but it will still strengthen your delivery system, your heart and lungs. But it's also going to help lower your blood pressure, lower your blood sugar, reduce the risk of chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, stroke, cancers. It's also a really good stress reliever, and it can promote better posture, better balance, stability, coordination, stronger bones. And most importantly, what I like the most about weightlifting is it can also increase your resting metabolic rate. So your resting metabolic rate is how many calories your body is burning when it's at rest, when you're just sleeping, when you're just doing nothing at all. So during cardio, you're going to burn more calories during that session. So say you go for a walk or a jog, or you're on the spin bike, whatever you're doing for cardio, you're going to burn more calories during that exercise bout, but in comparison to weightlifting. But with weightlifting, you're burning more calories post-exercise. So it's called EPOC, which is exercise post-exercise oxygen consumption. That means your body is trying to recover all the muscle damage that you did during that workout. And you don't have to, when I say muscle damage, I don't mean that you have to, brutalize yourself at the gym. You don't have to like completely destroy yourself to get these benefits. You don't even necessarily have to be crippled, sore, or anything. Just doing resistance training is going to give you these benefits. Of course,
well, I do that myself, like just going to the gym. And if I do weights, it may not be as high, but throughout the day, it'll kind of double, like on my Fitbit tracker. I mean, this is proven. What she's saying is absolutely proven, because I've noticed it myself. I'm like, oh, wow. After the workout, I had only burned X amount of calories, but 3 or 4 hours later, I hadn't done anything. I mean, any more exercise, and it had substantially burned more calories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I said, your heart and your lungs are working harder to get the nutrients to your muscles and do those muscle repairs that you did during the strength training, which doesn't necessarily happen after cardio. But cardio is still great in itself for strengthening your lung capacity and lowering your heart rate. So when it comes down to what's best as far as exercise, really what's best is whatever you're going to be able to do and stick to and enjoy. Because that's the underrated part of fitness, is that it can be it shouldn't be seen as a chore. It should be seen as something you get to do and a celebration of what your body is capable of. Now, when you get down to the details and you want to, fine tune and find a performance goal, such as weight loss or fat loss, I would say you definitely need to do some resistance training if you want to have fat loss because of that EPOC post-exercise recovery where you're burning more calories throughout the day. You're also building muscle, which is what raises your resting metabolic rate. So that's going to make you burn more fat at rest and just in total. And you should still do some cardio though, because we still want to get those heart and lung benefits from the cardio as well. So I would recommend anywhere from 3 to 5 days of strength training a week and at least 2 to 3 days of cardio as well. So, and they don't have to be like 2 hours at the gym. You don't have to kill yourself, but I'm just saying you still need a little bit of both. But if you're wanting fat loss, I would say you definitely need to get some resistance training and then also have a little bit of cardio as well.
Perfect. I think that's great. Something else hit me, but I forgot. Oh, obviously a great time to mention the 10K pledge. That's obviously another great program we offer. So I'll let you talk a little bit about that too, for those who maybe don't know.
Okay. So I feel like a lot of people on here do know about the 10K pledge, but I'm going to talk as if people are completely new. The 10K pledge is a free program that we offer. If you're an active True Vision customer, so that means that you're making a purchase every month of 75 PB, you can do our 10K pledge, which if you walk 10,000 steps on average every day for the month, we send you free stuff. So you get anything from like hats, jackets, shoes, to reward points, which you can use for free product purchases. So we're just giving you free stuff for going out and being active and trying to live better and improve your quality of life every day. And so we just want to promote healthy living every way that we can. And most everybody can get out and walk. It's the simplest form of exercise. And yeah, that was in place before I started. And that's what got me to really love True Vision, was that they had this program that is easy enough for everyone to do. It provides this awesome community, because that's another thing that we have is within our Facebook group and the community in the app. We have a really good support system, community of people who are all on the same journey as you, just lifting each other up, competing against each other. It's just all around really fun.
I love that. And that's what I loved. I mean, that's part of why I fell in love with True Vision too. It's not here, take these products and get skinny. It's here, we're going to reward you and encourage you to have a healthy lifestyle. And then with the addition of you and just the things we've been doing, True Transformation, just all these amazing things, again, to incorporate overall health and wellness. So we know you can take these products. Some people take these products and lose weight, no problem. I mean, I've seen it, I've witnessed it, but again, kind of talking about overall health and nutrition. So let's talk a little bit about water. Let's talk about water. This is always a big debate. How much water should I drink? Can I drink too much water? So what are some guidelines for water?
So water is your best detoxifier. So you see all those like tea talks, like detox teas and stuff like that. It's actually just a trick to get you to drink more water, is what those detox teas really are, because water is your body's detoxifier. Your kidneys, your liver, and your intestinal tract do all the filtration that your body needs. You don't need some special thing, which is why our Renew supplement, though, is a good product, because it does help with your intestinal filtration and all of that, and it also helps you get more water in. But water filters out all the gunk, and it helps circulate all the nutrients to your cells that your body needs. So every single cell in your body is made up of water. And metabolism is essentially chemical reactions happening within all of your cells. So drinking enough water is going to increase your metabolism. So that's why you often hear water consumption related to fat loss. And when it comes down to how much water you should be drinking a day, generally you want to drink 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce of water per pound of body weight. But that also depends on your climate and your activity. So say you're in a warm climate like Florida and you're really active like Elisa, you're going to want to stay on that higher end of sticking to 1 ounce of water per pound of body weight per day, definitely, because you're in a hotter climate, higher humidity, and you're more physically active. So you definitely want to stay on that higher end. But minimum, you want to be getting 0.5 ounce water per pound of body weight. If you're dehydrated, your cells are not functioning at their full capacity because, like I said, they're not completely made up of water, but they all rely on water to carry out these functions. So if your cells aren't functioning correctly, your metabolism is going to go down. So that's why it's really important to be drinking a lot of water and filter out all the crap from your body and make you feel good. So
right. I notice a difference. I notice a difference in my skin. I notice a difference in my mood. I notice a difference in my weight. Like water,
I always feel better with my energy when I drink enough water and when I don't.
Me too. I know when I haven't had enough water, or if I don't drink enough water one day and I work out the next day and it's a killer workout, I'm like, I didn't drink enough water the day before. Like, I know I require a lot of water. So here's a really good question, and I'm going to spring this on you, and we didn't like pre-ask this, but I get this a lot. And my answer is no, but I'll let you answer since you're the expert. Does heart and hydration count as water intake?
No. So that is a really good question. I'm going to say it's a yes and no. So
okay.
When I was in school, this was something that our head athletic director would always say, and to all of our athletes. So I was also on the volleyball team. He would say, for every cup of tea, every cup of Gatorade, milk, coffee, anything besides water, you need to also drink a cup of water with it. Like, so for every cup of something that's not water, you need to also drink a cup of water along with
just water.
Yes. So heart and hydration is amazing because it provides CoQ10 and your electrolytes. It helps keep you hydrated because the electrolytes give your cells the substances that they need to retain the water and stay hydrated. But you also need water along with that, along with heart and hydration. Even though the heart and hydration has water mixed into it, you should be drinking more water as well. But still drink your heart and hydration because it's great.
No, I agree. And I think it is a great tool for sure. And I think it does encourage, drinking water. It can't be wrong to drink water, right? So I think we're still headed in the right direction. But that was kind of my answer too, is like, no, you still need water. You can't just drink heart and hydration. Like you can't. I mean, it's great and it's yum and you can drink it all day, but you still need some plain water.
Yes, definitely. But I know a lot of people, and I've had clients who just lived off of, and their only liquid intake was like Diet Coke all day. And if that's what you're doing and you're trying to wean yourself off of an addiction like that, switching over to heart and hydration is a great first step, and then step into drinking more water as well. So it's good to bridge that gap of having an addiction to soda or some kind of sugary beverage. Heart and hydration is a great way to kind of get over that addiction, but then continue drinking it and move into drinking more water as well. So, yeah.
Perfect. I think and like I said, I just sprung it on you, but I know that's a really common question that I get as well.
Yeah,
so, no. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about fad diet.
Ooh, sorry. This is a good one.
Yeah, I'm my great. So let's talk. I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit of like just in general some fad diet.
Okay. Well, there's so many fad diets, but really, in reality, there's actually just a handful of fad diets, and they all go by different names, but they're really all basically low fat or high fat, low carb, or so low carb, high fat, or low fat, high carb. Those are basically your two options for different types of diets, or severe calorie restrictions, or intermittent fasting. And then you also have macro counting. Those are the main diets, although they go by various different names. Like the low carb diet and high fat goes by Atkins, keto. There's other names, but they're just not coming to my head right now. And that's a common question that I get asked as a nutritionist is, what is the best diet? And with so many different ones out there, instead of looking at what makes them all different, I like to look at what makes them all similar. And in general, they all provide some sort of structure, and they, in general, reduce overall calorie intake per day. And some of them, like a majority of those fad diets, also demonize macronutrient groups, which we can talk about macronutrients later. But when you're severely restricting anything, whether it's just calories in general or a macronutrient group, that's not going to be sustainable long term. So I don't like the ones that are too restrictive or super strict. When I talk to clients as far as nutrition goes, the first question I ask them is what they've done in the past and what worked for them. Because some people function best with more fat in their diet and less carbohydrates. So fats and carbohydrates are your two energy sources that you consume through food. And that's how your body creates energy for movements, thought processes, anything that your body needs energy for is going to come from fat or carbohydrates. So some people function best with more fat, less carbs, and some people function best with more carbs and less fat. And it always kind of has to be in an inverse relationship with those two because they're your energy sources. And if you're going high in both and you have too much energy, that's when your body stores fat because you can only burn off so much energy. And if you're consuming more energy than you're giving off, you're going to store it as fat. But so as far as the best diet, I would say there really isn't a best diet. It's about finding what works for you. Something that you can actually sustain long term, which in my opinion, a lot of those fad diets are not sustainable long term. But I like to follow it as like a keto-ish or like anything that those fad diets are. And if it's sort of working for you, we can tailor a nutrition plan around it, but it doesn't have to be like strict keto. But you can do like macro counting, which is basically taking all of those fad diets, but kind of manipulating them into being more sustainable and still being healthy and less restrictive. And it just overall will make you feel better. But yeah, those fad diets can just be difficult and they can mess with your brain. And by messing with your brain, I mean messing with your emotions and your relationships to food. And that's something that I really don't like to get into as a trainer and nutritionist. We always want to establish good relationships with food, and those fad diets, in my opinion, can often bring out bad relationships.
Perfect. So I think this is something you and I both agree on, and I get a lot of questions about it. So I wanted to make sure we hit on it pretty hard today, specifically is counting macros, because again, this conversation we personally had, for me, I've learned so much about the nutrients of my food. When you look at every single label and see the breakdown of what you're putting into your body, you know, to me, I can look at a plate now, and I know you can too. I can look at a meal and say, okay, high fat, low carb, lots of protein. I need more protein. It's something that I've literally learned, and I've learned it pretty easily, to be honest, for someone that has no idea what they're doing as far as nutrition goes. And I get so many questions about it. And I was telling Keith, I said, I'm great at it. I just don't know how to explain kind of like the science and the technical stuff. So let's talk specifically a little bit about macro counting, because people don't even know what that means. I didn't know what it meant. So let's talk about like a little bit of the basics, where to get started and things like that. Because I get a lot of, and again, it's my favorite, and this is my power hour. So we're going to talk about my favorite, and that's macro counting. And just because, again, the overall education that I've learned about food by macro counting. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in my opinion, macro counting doesn't necessarily have to be a diet, as in the way like keto is a diet or high carb is a diet. You know, it doesn't have to be considered a like diet, as in the sense of what society deems a diet. Diet is actually just your pattern of food consumption, and a diet plan is those fad diets. So macro counting it is the one that I lean towards the most. And like I said, I don't consider it a diet plan. It's more of just a way to teach clients about nutrition and understand what the components of nutrition are, what good nutrition is, and what a good healthy meal looks like. So counting macros, macronutrients are the 3 main nutrients that your body needs in order to function. So that's carbs, fats, and protein. So like I said, carbs and fats are your energy sources, and that's what your cells use to create energy for muscle movements, for talking, for thinking, even for sleeping. But protein is not an energy source that you're going to utilize to create energy. You can, but that's only in times of starvation. But you still need to eat lots of protein because unlike carbohydrates and fat, your body doesn't store protein in a way that it can be utilized. So protein is used to repair muscles, regulate hormone functions, create tendons, cartilage, basically just all like bodily repairs. And you don't store any of that the way that you store energy from carbohydrates and fat. Like you store fat, your body can take your body fat and use it and burn it up for energy when you're low on consuming food for the day. But as far as protein, it can't take protein from your muscle and use it to fix another muscle somewhere else. So that's why you need to make sure you're eating enough protein. But like I said, counting macros, before we get too much into the nutritional science, counting macros and the diet plan, if you wanted to call it a diet plan, is called If It Fits Your Macros, or IIFYM is what they use the acronym for. But it's basically taking your daily caloric needs and dividing them out into percentages of the different macronutrients. So it's going to give you a percentage of how many of those calories should come from carbohydrates, how many calories should come from protein, and how many calories should come from fat. And then it can help you structure your plate in a way that your meal is going to represent that percentage. And that sounds really complicated. It sounds like you have to do a bunch of math to do all these percentages and figure everything out. But really, there's tons of apps that you can use and download, and it will do all the math for you. Most of them, you can even just input your height, weight, gender, and your training goal, and it will come up with a macro plan for you and do a split already for you. You can go into most of those apps and tweak them if you want to adjust those percentages, and then you just track your food through it and it does all the math for you. You don't have to do anything. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. And like I said, I like this plan because it helps people learn about nutrition, and it shows them their true eating patterns, because somebody might be thinking, oh, I'm eating really healthy, I'm eating salads every day, but really their salad is just doused in ranch and they're getting maybe 2 servings of vegetables and 5 servings of their fats. And so it kind of teaches.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there. That's the biggest thing I've learned with counting macros. You all think it's healthy to eat a salad. It's the dressing that is your enemy. So I just wanted to stop you right there because I see that as you could, by the time you add some of the amount of dressing that you do, you could have had a cheeseburger for the same amount of count. I'm telling you all, finding dressing, I'll post what I use, but it's like a yogurt-based dressing. It's like a ranch, it's yogurt-based. I measure it out. I know exactly how much. Just be careful with dressings. I just wanted to just stop right there.
Yes, that's very true. But like I was saying, with macro counting and tracking everything through your app, it's really great, but you also need to be real with yourself. And if you are going to track it and count everything through an app like that, and you want to really fine tune your nutrition, be real with yourself on your serving sizes, because it will automate when you scan in a food, it will automate 1 serving. But say with the salad example, rarely do people ever use the 2 tablespoon serving size that comes with a serving of any type of dressing. Most people use a lot more than that. But take into account how much you're actually using and track it accordingly to your actual serving size. And then it will give you a breakdown of your percentages of what you've eaten for carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And it'll show you where you stand as far as eating towards your goals. And the nutritional science behind it all is just really fun. And that's why I like macros, because I don't really consider it a diet plan, because you can be flexible and you can still eat pretty much anything you want. Like I saw, Elisa, you posted that you had enough macros left to have an ice cream bar. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what I mean. You don't have to miss out on anything either.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you can't eat this or you can't eat that.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretty much eat what you want if you factor it in. Mm-hmm. What I have found, what I personally use, I've seen people asking which app. I use my MyFitnessPal app.
Mm-hmm. MyPlate is another really good one. That's the one I use is MyPlate, because that's the one that we used in my nutrition classes in school. But MyFitnessPal is also a really good one. It also has their own within their Fitbit app. I think Apple Health does. There's a lot of them, and they're really good. But my favorites are MyPlate and MyFitnessPal.
Well, and what I also like is, like you said, I've learned another thing that people don't pay attention to, and when you start counting, you will, are serving sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Sizes, like people are like, oh, I only ate. No. You don't know serving sizes until you start reading that package. And it's so enlightening. Like that was probably what was most eye-opening to me was, looking at that.
If you go on the nutritional page on the front end of the website, like I was saying, we have the whole nutrition guide. There's a really good section about how to read a nutrition label. So like what to look for, how to read a nutrition label accurately, because I work in the marketing department, and we're not like this, of course, but marketing for food companies can be very deceiving, and they can say, oh, this is a low calorie snack. But really, if you read the label, it's saying it's low calorie because there's 5 servings in this tiny little bag of chips or whatever. But really, people are going to plow through the whole thing. So instead of it being a 100-calorie snack, it's a 500-calorie snack. So that nutrition label guide on the nutrition guide on the fitness page I think that's one of the best things to read through it again, and really try to understand that, because that is one of the best things you can understand when it comes to nutrition, is how to read a label. And there's also another good breakdown of the macronutrients. There's a section on protein, carbohydrates, and fats. If you want to know more details about what types to be eating, what types to avoid, go look at the macronutrient sections on that nutrition page as well, because it gives a good breakdown of the different types.
Oh, I just thought of something really good too. And this is something I've experienced at my gym. So if you do use MyFitnessPal app and you're tracking your food, there's an option to like incorporate your exercising with it. Per my coach and my training, they're like, turn that off. It just causes a lot of confusion. You end up overeating. Are you familiar with that? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I agree with that. The only time I wouldn't agree with that is if you were training athletes, like how I was training those college athletes. That's the only time that I would really tell them to pay attention to that. But as far as just like weight loss goes, I would say to ignore that, because our goal is to try to achieve a calorie deficit. So if you're exercising and burning more calories, that's a good thing. You want to be expending more so that you burn that fat. Because if you eat to make up for that deficit, you're just going to stay where you are. So yeah, in my opinion, I would say if your goal is fat loss, I would say ignore that. But if you are already lean and you're trying to put on muscle, or you don't want to lose weight, then you could pay attention to it. But the goal is to try to achieve a deficit if you're trying to lose weight.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's going to mess. I mean, in my opinion, you want more going out. So,
and overall,
okay, I thought
it's not a daily deficit. It's really a long-term deficit, because you're not going to lose fat in a day. Fat loss happens over a period of time. And that's what a lot of people get frustrated with, is that it requires patience, it requires consistency, because it's your calorie deficit over the week, not just the day, because the number of calories in a pound of fat is 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. You're not going to get a 3,500 calorie deficit in a single day. You're going to achieve that over a week. That's why they say aim for 1 pound of fat loss to 2 pounds of fat loss per week, because you can achieve that 3,500 calorie deficit over a week period, not a day-to-day period, if that makes sense.
Right. Definitely. And our products, I mean, I know they make a huge difference for a lot of people. I mean, as far as like being hungry, I mean, we have great products for that. So,
yeah.
And I think let's talk a little bit about that. Not eating enough. Let's talk a little bit about not eating enough.
Yes, that's another really good one. Like when I was talking about the fad diets, like if you're doing a severe calorie restriction, our bodies are very primitive and we haven't evolved a whole lot in the last 1,000 years. Our bodies have stayed pretty much the same as far as a survival level. So before we had modern technology and all this, it was really difficult to know when you're going to have your next meal. You'd have to go out and, hunt down a woolly mammoth to eat next, or go pick berries and find whatever you can scavenge. It was either like a hunt and eat or a scavenge and eat, and you never knew when you were going to get that. So our bodies were really well adapted for that, to hold on to energy, hold on to fat for times of famine. So now that we don't have that problem and we can eat pretty much all day, every day, whenever we want, our bodies haven't adapted to our new lifestyles. And when you severely restrict calories, it's going to kick in that primitive state of survival. And what happens is your body's hormones, your body produces a hormone called ghrelin. And ghrelin tells your body that you're hungry. Leptin tells your body that you're full. And when you don't eat enough, those hormones get off balanced and it just increases your appetite. It also tells your body to hold on to more body fat. So it signals a hormonal response within your body to hold on to fat. And so even if you're not eating a lot, you're still going to hold on to everything that you're eating. Your body's going to want to store it. But that's if you're like really, really cutting down, like a lot. But
yeah, I thought that was, I think that's important, because some people are like, oh, I didn't eat all day, but I gained weight. I'm like, you have to eat. Like,
yeah. Well, and your metabolism, like I was saying, your cells, your metabolism is just chemical reactions happening within your cells. And if you're not eating enough, those chemical reactions can't happen. Your cells can't function. Your metabolism just goes down. So you need to eat to keep your metabolism going and to keep your hormones regulated so that everything's signaling right and stuff's going to where it needs to be and not just being stored as fat.
Yeah, that's so funny that you said that, because I'm hungry all the time. It's like a running joke, like with Matt, with my friends. I'm like, I'm hungry. I mean, I probably, I don't know, at least 6 times a day, at least. Yeah. I'm always hungry. I'm like, I can't believe you're hungry. And I'm like, sorry, I eat a lot. I mean, eat a lot, but in smaller amounts. So another thing, let's talk a little bit about product plateaus. Say you've hit a plateau in your weight loss journey. You've been taking True Vision products. You've been hitting your steps. You've been doing this stuff. Why do plateaus happen, and how can we break those?
So plateaus happen because your body can build up a tolerance to what you're doing. And so this is a term in health science. It's called specific adaptation to imposed demands. And so what that means is if you're just doing the exact same thing every day, your body is going to adjust and adapt to that. You need to continuously change things up for your body to have to adapt and react all over again. And now that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to change up your supplements. I mean, you can, and Elisa might know a little bit. Elisa might know a little bit more about that. But as far as hitting a plateau, my recommendation is going to be to change up your fitness routine. So if you hit a plateau, I would say focus on getting more sleep so that your body can recover and allow your hormones to function and re-regulate, get everything flowing the way it needs to be. Drink your water. Make sure you're upping your water intake, or if you are hitting a plateau, check in with yourself. Am I still drinking enough water every day? because sometimes we get in a good habit and then it will slowly trickle down and we don't realize that we're not drinking as much water. So recheck your water intake, and then also switch up your fitness routine and try something new. Maybe add a little bit more time onto your walk or to your run, or lift a little bit heavier, change up your set and rep schemes. Introduce variables into your physical activity, and that's going to help break you through a plateau as well.
Perfect. And then I think as far as products go, my first recommendation that I always tell people is lay off whatever sister product you're taking, meaning Control, whatever sister product you're taking, and just keep taking the True Fix for about 5 to 7 days, and then restart taking the Control. Again, back to what Kiva statistically said, your body gets used to it. So your body will get used to Control or Reform or whatever add-on product you're taking. So that's always my suggestion. Lay off whatever that is, keep taking your True Fix for 5 to 7 days, and then restart taking those products. And most of the time will jumpstart your body. If not, it happens again, change, your sister product. That's why we offer a variety of products, because different things work for different people. Or if you hit a plateau, change it up. I think the Renew is important. The importance of fiber. People don't realize the importance of fiber. So I'm just going to let you talk about fiber really quick. This, again, wasn't planned, but I know how important it is. I take supplements for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what the new protein cakes are, loaded with fiber, and I love it. So yeah, that's one thing. Most Americans, the majority, do not get enough fiber, and there's a higher rate of colon cancer, just cancer in the digestive tract, and that's all because of fiber. So back on the macronutrients, carbohydrates have pretty much two main nutritional components. So there are different types of carbohydrates, different types of fats, and different proteins. But as far as carbohydrates, you have sugars and you have fibers. And sugars, we know, are just something that you should really limit, but fiber is something that we really want to get enough of. So that's why I also don't like the diet trends that demonize macronutrient groups, because if you are really cutting out your carbohydrates, you're probably not getting enough fiber. And supplementation alone is not going to give you enough fiber, but you need to be eating the majority of your fiber. And also, I also take a fiber supplement too. I just think most people need more fiber.
And yeah, that's something I add in my macro count is fiber.
Yeah, and it helps, like I was saying, the detoxifier, through going through your digestive tract. Fiber is basically like a scrub brush that's going to go through your digestive tract and get rid of all of the gunky stuff that you don't want in your body. Fiber is going to just help clean everything up and get rid of it.
So yeah, and to keep our digestive tract going is, people don't realize how important that is either. Renew, water, products, things like that. It's crucially important. So I think we've covered pretty well. Does anyone have any specific questions? We have Kiva for just a few minutes, or if you can think of anything you wanted to add, Kiva, that I didn't touch on.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if there was anything.
True transformation. Talk about that.
Oh yeah. So we are currently in the last round of True Transformation. If there's anyone on here who is new or doesn't know about True Transformation, it's also a free program that we have. And once you start taking the products, if you start, changing your lifestyle a little bit, we're just rewarding you for trying to live better and what transformations you're going to have as far as just living better and trying to live a little bit healthier. We do 4 challenges a year, 1 every quarter. And at the end of the year, we pick an overall True Transformation winner. Each 4 challenge gets their top 3 and they get prizes. But the overall challenge is for the whole year. We take your very first entry, no matter which challenge you began with. If you started in challenge 1 or challenge 3, your first entry is your first entry. And we compare it to your very last entry, no matter which challenge you ended with either. So we have so many entries, and it's going to be a long process to go through, but it will be announced before the end of the year. But that's the one I'm really excited about, is the overall, because like I said, fitness requires patience, and consistency. And that's what this true transformation, the overall, is going to show is, how much a year of patience and consistency, how much that really pays off and how it's really worth it. Because some days you're going to be like, why am I even doing this? It feels like I'm not making any progress. But when you compare 365 days worth of, making small, consistent efforts, they don't have to be massive. You could have a day where you're just like, I'm burnt out and I can't make it to the gym today. That's okay. As long as you are staying consistent over the long haul, like, you're going to have good progress. And that's what I think the true transformation promotes, is consistent, slow efforts, because that's the key to living a healthy lifestyle. It's not just a temporary thing. There's no end goal. It's how you just live in order to have a better quality of life, to enjoy your life, to enjoy your family and your loved ones, just to be there all around and be happier and healthier.
And overall, like you said, I think that's the important part. I mean, I know I harp on it so much, but just counting the macros, you learn things that you would not know, and how you feel and what makes you feel better. And, oh, I need more protein for the day. So I kind of challenge people. I would just do it at least for like a week, two weeks, and just kind of see what you're putting into your body and the actual breakdown. So I looked at, like, Matt was eating some sauce the other night, and I was like, that looks really good. And then I looked at it and I'm like, nope, never mind. I'm not eating that. It's not worth like half my count of fat a day. It makes you value really what you're eating, and like what you're like, okay, never mind. This was very eye-opening. I assume you all have a Bonefish Grill. It's like a chain restaurant, and they have these things called Bang Bang Shrimp. Okay. I don't know if you've ever had Bang Bang Shrimp, but yeah, I looked up the macro count on those, and it was literally my fat serving for the entire day. I've never eaten another one. Never. I've never eaten not one. And I love those things.
That's funny.
And Matt would eat them in front of me.
Shrimp is actually like one of the best sources of protein. And how you're saying that shrimp,
it was the sauce,
has all your fat for the whole day. Shrimp, actually, if you just eat shrimp, like cook it with herbs and spices and not load it up with tons of oil, butter, or sauces. You can put some oil in, obviously, but mostly just relying on herbs and spices. It is the lowest in fat and highest in protein per like serving. It is my favorite protein source. And you're also getting, that's my favorite.
And no fat. And also scallops. I love scallops, like sea scallops. I had those for dinner last night, and I just used the lime tequila seasoning sauce, and that's all I put on there. I mean, that's what I had for dinner. It was great. And like,
tequila lime on the shrimp and just eat it like that. So
yep.
Good. I love
awesome.
it. That's also something, if you have not checked out the Crafted line, it is like my favorite thing that we have. Well, I love everything, but
it's a great tool. It's another great tool.
Well,
yeah.
That was something that I wanted to touch on. So we have amazing products. And if you're harping on it's just 2 pills twice a day, and that's what you're using as your slogan for sales, I would really, really warn you to steer away from that, because that's what's going to have people hit plateaus and make people think, oh, these products are terrible. They don't work. They don't do anything. Really, these products, they are amazing, but they're amazing tools to help you have more energy to get up and move around more, and to have less cravings for sugary, junky foods that you shouldn't be putting into your body. Our products are tools to help you live a better lifestyle. So you may not initially make any efforts consciously. You might just start taking the products, but the products are giving you more energy and suppressing your appetite or reducing your cravings. So I would bet that even if you're not consciously trying, you are moving more and you are eating a little bit better. But you also need to consciously try to make a choice, or else you're going to hit a plateau.
Well, I think what really hit me, Kiva, is when I was putting in like a lot of work at the gym. I'm like, I'm not going to go eat crap food because I've worked way too hard at the gym. And let's talk about that rule. Let's talk about food versus actual workout, because we talk about that a lot. Like, you can work out all day long, but if you eat like crap, It's not going to matter.
Do anything. Yeah. Exercising is great for, like I said, like helping your posture, helping with your, like, all your internal structures, but nutrition is what's going to make the biggest impact on your performance, how well you're able to perform at the gym and work out, and how well you're able to show off all the hard work you're doing at the gym. So if you're just eating a bunch of crap, you're going to have that fluffy fat hiding all your hard work at the gym. And there's no way around that. You can't train around a bad diet. There's no way. I've studied this for years, and sadly, there's just no trick to training around a bad diet.
No, because I would much rather work out, right?
Yeah, but also, like I was saying, when you start training, hormones that go on in your body make you stop craving the sugary, junky foods. Because weightlifting, this is something that I really love, is you store carbohydrates, so you store sugars in your muscles. And when you use your muscles for energy, it pulls sugar out of your bloodstream. So it helps lower your blood sugar, and it's really, really beneficial for diabetics, pre-diabetics, or if you have a history in your family of diabetes. Weightlifting can be your best friend because it can really help with blood sugar management. I kind of forgot where I was going with that, but yeah. Oh yeah. So when your blood sugar is more stabilized from taking TrueFix and lifting weights, you don't have those blood sugar spikes and crashes as much, and you're not going to have as much of a craving for sugary, quick dissolving carbs anymore. So you're not going to crave sugary, junky food as much. That's just a hormonal thing that goes through your body when you start, moving around more. It signals hormones in your body to just make you instinctively want to eat a little better.
Right. And like I said, between taking
also
products,
you don't want to because you worked hard.
Yeah, between working out and taking products, I'm like, yeah, it's a lifesaver. So perfect. Well, thank you again,
Travis
Kiva, for all the time. Hey, Travis. Travis is like back to work.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's up in this room.
I'm in Travis's office and it's hot.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Kiva. I appreciate your time. I appreciate corporate letting us have some of your time. I hope this was helpful to you all. I think, we'll definitely do this again. I know I learned stuff, so I hope that you all learned stuff.
I'm happy to do it again. I'm honored that you asked me to. So
perfect. Thanks, Kiva. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.